I'd like to welcome each and every individual to Voices of Integrity podcast for Mark Boersma for Dummies. And we're going through the 2.5 minute video, and we're on number 9, 10, 10. We're on number 10. I knew that. Um, and so we have a tendency to judge others by their actions, but us by our intentions. And many times we do no more than intentions. What do you all think about that?
I think it's true.
I've heard that before. It's interesting.
Any other thoughts?
I think I find that true sometimes, but yeah, a lot of times online myself.
So why do people talk and don't do? Like, I don't understand that.
Talking's easy, doing's hard.
Yeah, but it's harder long term if we don't do. I mean, in the book 10X and the video in the audio 10X. So, Roseanne, have you come up with anything in our 41 years of marriage um, that I've said I was going to do that I didn't do?
No,
So, why am I hoping that she can come up with something?
normalizes you.
Right? If we could just get one thing on Mark, just one thing. I don't know because I don't like things being like I don't like talkers and not doers. Like integrity is you do what you say what you do, you mean what you say what you mean. It's not complicated. So last night in my sleep, two things came to me. There's been two outstanding things where why people like I've never understood why people are in your life and then they're not. Like it doesn't make any sense to me. I don't understand it. And I've wondered about this for decades. I mean, especially with the internet. Like especially with the internet. And um so that's one thing. And the other thing is without a vision the people perish. So lots of stories about vision. And so why do people perish without a vision? And I think the reason they do is because they stop growing. I think it's the same thing that happens with friends. One of the two or both of them stop growing. And as soon as you stop growing, you die. You become a normal human being. People, you know, people can predict you. People can, people know what you're going to do before you do it. Like Alvin, 84 years old. He says one of his best friends was his dad. I asked him about what made a best friend. He had some fascinating things, really interesting things that he shared about that. And one of them was that, like he said, people that think they have him figured out, yeah, he doesn't spend a lot of time with those kind of people because you can't figure somebody out if they're continuing to grow. So I said to, Patrick Ryan, a friend of mine, I said, when I get bored with people, I find myself moving on. Like, it's like, okay. And in coaching, they say that you go from one coach to another coach when you think you've gotten everything out of the current coach that you have, then you move on to the next coach. And so I don't like it like this here. I don't understand why people don't see, like in the book Man in the Mirror, Christian book, it says in the book, it said that like you guys hear me reference so many books, and it's like when you read books, you get a world, you get access into another whole world of thinking other than the way we think. And the people around us, they think very much like we think. And so, from the man in the mirror, they said, for man, and we now have three things for men, consistency, um, consideration, and competency. And so we're building out the whole thing on that. So I have more frustration in my life now than I've ever had before. Yeah, I don't have to worry about the money. But I do have other people around me that need to have money. So I need to go ahead and be concerned about, them. And so I don't have a lot of the things that I had when I was in my 20s, 30s, 40s, or even 50s. I don't have those things, but I have more other things that I have. And so, like, I don't understand, like, so I have been for 4 years, 4 years, going to a church, big church. And they're on a capital campaign. And so they wanted to raise $10 million. And they got so good, it went to, I don't know, 14 million. Now they have a new goal of 16 million. And I'm not judging them in any way. It's an observation. It's just like a business. The goal's never enough. It's always more. Like, you always want more. And one of the pastors there, it was fascinating to me. I was playing pickleball with him, and I don't know, other people were on the courts or something. And he kind of says in disgust, he's like, yeah, like, can't even get access to, our own pickleball courts. And yet, like, he wouldn't want that. Like, he wouldn't want that broadcast. Like, he's a pastor. He gets up and he says, I'm a sinner just like you do, raises his hands and so worshipful and everything like that. So he says that, but in his heart, there's a heart of entitlement. There's a heart of entitlement. Like you, dude, I didn't say anything to him, but dude, you've barely been at the church for what? Like a very short period of time. And you say from the pulpit, you're raising the money to go ahead and to raise the money to go ahead and, reach the community. But then when somebody's on your pickleball court, you're all poosty, you're all upset, you're all whatever. Like, it's pretty clear. It's not a judgment. It's an observation. It's pretty clear that he's got a heart issue. But I think, do all of the pastors, they all say they're going to do things and they don't do it. It doesn't make any sense. Like, I don't understand how people live with themselves, and I don't think they do. I just don't get it. So I asked a friend, Kenny Bontrager, I've known him for 4 years, and I asked him the other day, hey, is there anything that I've said I was going to do that I didn't do? And he brought up one situation. It was a gift or something for his parents, in my appreciation of, what he, of their investment into his life. He said, you never followed through on that. And what was my response to that? I remember that. I didn't remember I said I was going to do it. Did I go ahead and defend myself and say, well, that really wasn't, I did, but so why didn't I? Well, there's multiple different factors. Like, I didn't want to create an issue for his mom or dad or for him. And so, is that 100% the reason? It's not, but it's definitely a factor. So can I do a gift now? Is that going to be okay? Is that going to create any issues? And he's like, no, I don't think it'll create any issues. So I'm like, okay. And so one time in 4 years, so he had an understanding of that I was going to do something and I didn't do it. When he told me that, So I wonder, like, what if we did that? Like, what if? So this pastor, I said something to him. He says, "Well, I'm willing to have a phone call." He doesn't want to get it right, and I know because I've had experience with him and other pastors. I know that if I say something, he's going to come up with reasons, excuses. He's going to, why? It's just who he is. He doesn't grow, he doesn't change. I mean, that's been my experience with him. Well, Mark, what if, what if are you going to give him a chance? I don't know. He had a chance in the email. He could say, "Hey, I'd like to talk about that to make sure that, but he doesn't want it. I mean, it's like he wants to feel good about himself. And so, like, I I don't understand. I don't understand people. And especially people who lift themselves up by saying they're so humble. In big churches, what you see a bunch of pastors and they're all telling each other, they're all telling people from the stage on how all the other pastors are humble. It's like you're protecting one another. I thought you're supposed to be protecting the sheep. I mean, they get up and they talk about how they want to feel safe. They want everybody to feel safe. But I say, well, I don't feel safe in the church. I mean, you got police officers out there, which is fine. I get it. But they're not there for my protection. They're there for the pastor's protection. It's all about the pastor. It just is. And it's okay. Just know the truth because the truth will set you free. You think you're humble, but if you're not humble, but you think you're humble, well, what are you going to do? You're going to push out the people that can see this stuff. You don't want to see any of this stuff. You just don't. And so it's fascinating. It's so interesting to me where I jokingly say, why, like, why don't people want to be around? I know why people don't want to be around me. It's not complicated. It's because I see things and I don't know, 10, 20% of the time I'm willing to share it. Most of the time I don't. 80, 90% of the time, what I see, I do not say. But that 10, 15, 20% that I do say, man, people don't like it. Elaine, what you thinking?
I guess mostly I'm thinking, yeah, agree with you on that.
That's not what I was hoping for. Maybe Nora will shake some things up. Nora, uh, what are you thinking?
Um, I don't know. I've been thinking about this lately. Like, it has been interesting to go from like a small church to a large church. Um, I don't know. It seems like, because I actually listened to a sermon from last Sunday at the church I used to go to, and they every now and then they'll have just other guys that are not pastors, just share a message.
Right.
And I think that that's cool. Like it's
Right.
like you don't have to, and the pastor doesn't get paid,
Yep.
and so it's just like he's a normal, like he's a guy. He has his own job, and then he's still. I mean, yeah, they do pastor appreciation, and they obviously because he does spend a lot of time in preparing for the sermon and stuff, and people like you appreciate pastors that get up and talk, like because that like I don't want to do that. So it's like you appreciate them, but he's just, I mean, he has his own job and then he, is a pastor. And then I don't know, it's just different to go from like a small church like that to a big one. It does feel a little bit watered down quite a bit, like at times.
Right.
So I don't know what the difference is necessarily from like a small church to a large church on why that is like that. But
Well, I think the thing is you have different frequencies. And so you have low frequency and high frequency. And so you have a group of people, mass of people. You always have new people. And so, so it's harder on a big church to go hard, to push in, to press in. There's more seduction. There's more telling people what they want to hear. There's a softer approach. You got a lot more people
But
to
see,
consider.
see, I don't understand that because that's against what the Bible actually teaches.
So do you think that the churches are about the Bible?
Well, not in that case.
So what they can do, and again, if you're a pastor listening to this, one, I want to commend you. Like I want to say, dang, not dang. I want to say, if you're Baptist, I want to say something like, wow, like that's amazing. That seriously, like I'm surprised that you're listening to this. And so the thing is it's hard. My dad was a pastor, so I grew up as a pastor, and I'm a teacher, and it's hard. How do you meet everybody's needs? And so there's going to be some that are low frequency, some that are high. It's almost like teaching in school. You're always teaching to the lowest student. You don't want to leave somebody behind. So the bright students, the smart students, the top students, they're not being, because you always go to the lowest level. And so they can look at the scripture, and you can look at scripture, and I mean, this is why Nora asked me if I'd ever tried. Have you ever tried being a pastor? So she didn't know that we did a house church, I guess, for a couple years. And so that was fascinating too. So this is not, see, pastors, from my perspective, they're super, super hypersensitive about anything. You can't even say anything to them because they do the 9Ds, dismiss it, they deny it, they they defend against it. And so so
But I
what's
think
the
that there's because I was part of a small group too, and the leader, I really admired the leader too because he's really wise. He did a lot of like digging back and like getting information and why this and why that and this could be a possibility and this could be a possibility. But I think too it's like I don't know, I enjoyed that a lot because he had like information and stuff like possibilities, but he was never like this is the way it was on like on some of the stuff that's like black and white. He's like, well, this is clearly what it says. But then on other stuff, it was more of like an opening of your mind. Like people read the same exact passage and get something different out of it than what you did. So it's
right?
coming together and it's like sharing those, and it doesn't mean that one person's right and the other one's wrong. It's just it's a
Right,
discussion. So I
right.
think for low frequency and high frequency, if you come at it at that angle of, well, this is a possibility, this is also like, and it's like you still like God can still speak to you in a way that he might not to others. So it's like
Right.
it's more of a discussion than it is like a sermon up there, like this is the way it is and this is what you need to do and this and this. It's I don't know. I think it should be more of a discussion and create a curiosity for you to go home and read the passage and dig into it versus this is the way it is.
Well, and see, this is on Sunday at church. I go ahead and text a whole bunch of different people and say, "What'd you learn? What'd you learn? What's something exciting that you picked up from your sermon?" Like I'm like, "Wow!" And it's almost never, not never, but mostly never. And I think, why do people even go to church? Like, why do people go to church?
I think for most people, it's just that's what they do. Like that's what you do is go to church.
Right, right, and so it's like. So, like, if I was in that small group, why likely would that small group leader not like me? The one
You
that
would
you like.
challenge him?
How do you challenge somebody that goes ahead and says, well, how do you challenge somebody that says, well, this is one perspective?
see what their other perspectives are.
Well, if they're truly open, well, this is one perspective. This seems like what it is. Like, how do you get somebody ticked if that's really where their heart's at? It's almost impossible because they're like, I don't know. There's an infant God. I don't know. Like, I don't know. Like, but like, I mean, a new baby Christian, somebody brand new could go ahead and see something I've never seen. And I went to Bible college and I've been to Sunday school and I've been that. But brand new people, like, whoa. Like Mike Casper, like, fascinating guy. And, and I don't know if he'll go ahead and get this podcast or listen to it, but when he became like a new Christian, he was like a baby Christian, like they call him, like he's just, and to hear him pray, to hear him pray was really cool. Like it was just, just so awesome when he first started. Like it was just cool. It was just having, hey God, like it was just neat. Now he spent decades in church and it's like, I don't know. I'm not saying anything. I don't know. So that pastor, that leader, when he says, well, this is pretty clear, this is, pretty black and white, I'd challenge that most likely. I'd say, well, really? So salvation is by grace and, through faith and no works. And that's what that passage says. So that's pretty clear, right? But then I'd say, well, what about where it says work out your salvation? What about that? Well, well, that people just throw it away. And what about when they say, people stand before God and said, hey, coming into heaven, and God's like, and they said, we preached in your name, we did miracles, we cast out demons. Those are good Baptists. I mean, they're not doing miracles and they're not casting out demons. That's a pretty high level person preaching in Jesus' name, and then doing miracles. And God's like, depart from me, I never knew you. That could be you and I. Oh, that's not us. What do you mean? How do you, what? So, like, what is, like, I think iron sharpening iron, but it's not. It's like paper. It's like wet toilet paper. It's just crazy. Oh, it's so awesome. Like this to me, where two or three are gathered, this to me is like church. It's like, we can we can challenge one another. Well, what does that mean? Like working it out. It's hard work. Like it's work out your salvation. Like it's not just, oh, you feel good, I feel good, we have music and we all feel good about everything. No, it's probably work. It's work. It's hard. Like I might get ticked at you. You might get mad at me. You might get hurt. You might never want to talk to me again. We come back together, hammer it out. Sorry, go ahead, Nora.
No, I think that's not something that's like, I wouldn't say that that's something that's black and white. Like that specific thing wouldn't be black and white because it's like, okay, so your works are not going to get you to heaven. So does that mean you don't work? No, it doesn't. It like you still have to put the work in, but then also your works are like filthy rags. So it's basically saying you can't earn your way into heaven. Does that give you a reason to not work at all? No, absolutely it doesn't. So it's like,
yeah, and I wasn't
that
really
to me would
talking about
definitely
that
not be.
specific situation. What I was talking about is that, I'm going to challenge probably anybody and everybody, and the people who think they're the most humble. It's like Jim says later, you need to be warned. He's going to expose it pretty quick.
I think I think for you, it might be your personality, the way it's like you're challenging because you want to know, but it might not always. I see a lot of my brother, like there's some similarities in you and my brother, and I think he had a hard time, like when he challenged something, it came across as he was standing firm on that, and he was challenging it because he was so firm on it, when it might have been just him wanting to learn and he was just challenging it. So I think with your personality, that might have something to do with it, that it comes across wrong or comes across in a way that you didn't mean it to. Does that make sense?
Well, I think now that I'm 62, I mean it exactly how I say it. You think you're a strong leader? You think you're humble? You think you have knowledge? You think a whole bunch of things about yourself? You Christian white male over 50? You think you're everything? You know how to seduce women and get people to say, oh, this is so cool. This is so neat. This is so neat. Yeah, you know what? He's going to be exposed really quick. So it's almost like people want to fix me. And it's like, no. Maybe you need to be more like me. Like maybe, I'm not saying you are. I'm just saying rather than me being fixed, maybe I'm not the one that's broken. Maybe it's other people. And people have a hard time. They want to be all accomplished what I want to accomplish, what I can accomplish, but they don't want the yeah, even Jesus did. Anyways, gotta run to pickleball now. And so, but next time, there's not permanent change. Permanent, like Tim got it, like permanent. Like this is you're changed for the rest of your life. Anyways, this has been good. Thank you so much, all of you. Appreciate you all. We'll see ya.